Wanna talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna talk.
Welcome back. It's Talk to Sullivan time. I was off by 30 minutes. Ted will be with us in the next sector. We're expecting a call from Chris Slattery talking about some pro-life issues. Speaking of which, I'm pro-life. Chief is pro-life. Brent is pro-life. Most of our viewers are pro-life. But if you happen to be someone who is not pro-life, it's probably because you're already born. Just a thought that maybe you could knock around in your mind. The state of Mississippi is last in many things, but it will be first in ridding itself of all abortion clinics. If the last remaining abortion clinic, one in Jackson, Mississippi, is in fact closed because the state has notified them of their intent to take away their license. Now my question is, Chief, what kind of a license do you get to kill babies?
Well, it's from the government. That's the only place in this country that would issue a license to kill is our government. So that's where it would come from.
That's outrageous.
Because
All
the government has no heart and no God.
right. Do we have Chris now? All right, Chris, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And we just started the conversation with the good news that the state of Mississippi has given notice that the last abortion clinic in that state is going to be closed. How are you?
Fantastic news. I didn't hear that. That just came out today?
Yeah, just came out. They haven't been closed, but they've been told that unless they can get rights in a hospital so that problems that always arise out of abortions they can take them right to the hospital, that they can't do abortions. And of course, no hospital in that kind of an environment wants abortionists. In fact, I don't know of any abortionists that have hospital privileges in any state. I may be wrong, but I don't know of any.
No. Well, you haven't been to New York recently then, have you?
Well,
We've had plenty.
Chris?
Yeah, there's training, and our hospitals, we have 17 city hospitals, and over 10 of them perform abortions and train women, train doctors in abortions. So they have plenty of doctors with abortion privileges here, but
well, that's a shame.
that's
That's
New York,
a crisis, obviously, for the children. Now, Roe v. Wade's anniversary is coming up. Roe v. Wade opened the door to 50-plus million children being murdered, and there's all kinds of discussion. One of the reasons that this is such a fertile environment for illegals is because we've killed our own children. If we had those 50 million, there wouldn't be place for the illegals. All the needs would be filled by our own people, and it's one of the reasons that we're losing the white majority in this country. Not that that's essential, but it's one of the reasons, because whites abort not as fast as blacks, but Hispanics don't abort nearly as much. Talk to us about what's happening.
Yes, well, it's tragic that we're at about 55 million children since Roe v. Wade in New York. We started 3 years earlier. We were ahead of the killing game. So this is our 43rd anniversary. But I'm hopeful because I see, as I've been going to the March for Life for 33 years, and I just returned from the march, which was on Friday. We did the anniversary march because of the inauguration earlier in the week. We couldn't do it on the 22nd, Tuesday. And the crowd was like 80-90% young people, teenagers. 40,000 teenagers went to Mass and prayer services in the morning in churches or halls and arenas before the estimated 500 to 600,000 marchers arrived. So it was encouraging, and while on the federal level we're not going to accomplish anything, We're not going to pass any pro-life legislation on a federal basis with Obama as president, that's for sure. But we can stop some of the foolishness of Obama because the House is solidly pro-life. We hope and pray that the 5 conservative-leaning, including Kennedy, justices on the Supreme Court do not retire or die, and will hold on for another shot at the next president to appoint their replacement. Roe v. Wade is still the name of the game, still the law of the land, yes, and there are ways that some states, like Mississippi, you mentioned earlier, can regulate abortion clinics and regulate the time and place and notification of parents and waiting periods and mandatory ultrasounds. All of this can be done and can reduce the number of abortions. We saw in the early 90s the high watermark of the abortion industry, 1.6 million abortions. So we're down to about 1.2 million. That's a significant, 400,000 babies less aborted a year, right?
Right. That's obviously that's a major.
So that's a big improvement, and I mean, it could be worse, and it was significantly worse, and our population is increasing slowly, but it's going up, as you said, largely because of immigration. Because of immigration, we are at a just barely at replacement level in our country at 2.1 children per female, and so we are, barely preventing the demographic suicide of the West in Europe, where it's severe. We don't have an overpopulation problem in the world. We have a depopulation problem, and it is complicated by the immigration issue. There are. I'm going to leave that to the philosophers and the social anthropologists to discuss the immigration issue as it pertains to the future of America. But we who value human life from conception have been fighting very hard, and I have dedicated my life to this cause by trying to serve in New York City primarily, but I have plans now to launch new pro-life pregnancy centers in Washington, D.C., and later in Miami this year, because these are cities where the abortion rates are very high and there's inadequate support services for alternatives to abortion in these cities.
All right, let me get some comments from our panel. Let me go to Brent.
Well, first off, Stan, you said at the beginning of the segment that we were all pro-life. Now, I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-death. I believe that those people who have, with government sanction, gone out there and killed unborn children should lose their lives. I believe that those people who have disregarded the Constitution and seek to dictate how others should live should lose their lives. So I'm very much pro-death, selectively. Having said that, it has always been to me an abomination that Roe v. Wade, by the way, is not the law of the land. Roe v. Wade is a case that was ruled upon in the Supreme Court. The law of the land is the Constitution. The law of the land is the principles of the Declaration. The law of the land is not made in the courts, even though judges and attorneys would say differently. It was simply one case that said the government can fund abortions. That doesn't make it legal. Nobody can make murder legal. And this has actually been discussed among statesmen for hundreds of years, that the government does not have the power to sit there and say murder is legal. The government does not have the power to issue a license to kill, such as James Bond 007. A license to kill, meaning you are protected from committing the crime of murder. you will not be punished for committing that crime. Anyone who does that, anyone who says that's okay, is an accessory after the fact or before the fact. And those people, you know, I'm a great believer in eye for an eye. Those people who say it's time to kill, they're the ones who should die. You know, those people who say women should be in combat, like we were talking about before, let the feminists be in the front lines in the most horrendous conflict. You know, that's the way to eliminate these people, and that's the way to deal with this kind of stuff. And by the way, on the Mississippi situation, I think is fantastic. It's a perfect example of the power of states' rights. Regardless of what the feds say, states have the power, every state has the power to do exactly what Mississippi has done, to set up regulations that make it, for all practical intents, impossible for abortionists, for unborn baby murderers, to function in their states. We don't want them here.
There are more regulations for ear piercing than there are for abortions in many parts of this country. All right, Chris, the event that just took place was huge. It got very little, if any, media attention. I've always said if you get 12 homosexuals and a stuffed giraffe, it'll be the lead story on every affiliate of every network in the country. But you can get 1 million pro-lifers politely and prayerfully standing up for the lives of these wonderful, innocent children, and it'll get no attention. What, if any, are the plans to try and bring more focus so more people understand how many young people, how many white, black, yellow, red, all kinds of people are coming around to the understanding that that's a baby, that's not a choice?
Well, we have gained in the last month. We have had a couple of significant news stories. The New York Times did a cover story in the first week of January, and Time magazine did a cover story on the pro-life movement the first week of January. And they both were positive on pregnancy centers and the impact of the pro-life movement. These are two of our most secular papers, and they recognize it, that our movement has strength, that it has credibility with young people. You take Live Action, one of the younger pro-life groups. They have 400,000 likes on Facebook. If you don't know what that means, then you're not into social media. But that's more than Planned Parenthood does. I mean, they have a $1 billion organization, and Live Action's probably under $1 million compared to a $1 billion organization. So the young people are attracted to the pro-life movement, and those that watch and follow the culture, they're noticing this. And these state laws, more state laws were passed in the last 2 years against abortion than in the last 40. So these laws are increasingly crushing the ability of abortionists to do abortions. There's less access to abortion. We have 600 or 700 abortion clinics in the country. We used to have a couple of thousand. So there's reduced access. Less abortionists are getting into the business. That's a good trend. That's a good trend. But we're still looking at over 1 million abortions a year, and it's a long way to overturning Roe v. Wade. Yeah, I understand the other gentleman points out that, you know, it's not the law of the land, but, well, all the governors respect it. All the law enforcement in this country respect it. So, in effect, it is. It may not be technically, but no governor in this country has ever said, we're closing abortion clinics. And until one does, now they have, you know, they never had a lot of abortion clinics in Mississippi. And, of course, people from Mississippi can take a bus to nearby states to get abortion. It's not like they banned abortion in Mississippi, which they can't do under Roe v. Wade. Virginia dropped a lot of its abortion clinics by doing similar things, increasing requirements and making hospital level standards. So we're making we're making gains. But that's not a lot of consolation to the million-plus babies that will be killed in 2013.
Well said. Well said. All right, Chief?
Brent made a great point about the Supreme Court, and Stan, I want to commend you tonight because in one sentence you did more to establish a legal precedent than the Supreme Court has done than I can remember. When you said that the abortion, which is the murder of unborn babies, is a cause for our immigration problem. So you, in essence, said that abortion is anti-American. With the Supreme Court ruling in the current Obamacare situation, and they're calling it a tax for not doing something, and also in Roe versus Wade, in the ruling that they had there, they've gone against our founding documents. The Declaration of Independence says that our rights come from God, and the Constitution protects those rights, and the number one right listed there is life. So all Americans, born and unborn, are guaranteed life, and the Supreme Court ruled against that. But to take it a little farther, another point I think we should make is that since Roe versus Wade, though, and these murders of unborn children have taken place, we have more statistical information that has now shown that this is actually a war on women as well. It's a murder of unborn children, but it's a war on women because women that abort, and it's a choice, by the way, it's a choice of convenience because they could easily have those babies and adopt them out if they cannot take care for them themselves, or they could become mothers with help from someone else. But so it's just a convenient choice that they make. But women that abort are prone to more psychological damage. They're prone to more physical damage, especially with breast cancer and other forms of cancer. So this is not just a war on unborn children, but a war on women as well.
Again,
Well
I couldn't
said.
agree more.
Well said.
Go ahead. Chris, your organization is designed to go against the popular leftist propaganda and line of crap, I might add, to be technical, that pro-lifers don't care about the babies. That couldn't be further from the truth.
Or you would rather, I think you meant to imply the mother. We do. We love the mother and the child. You can't love or help a baby in a mother's womb without going through the mother and helping that mother to choose life. And these mothers are, in the vast majority of them, are coerced into abortions. They're abandoned. In effect, psychologically, they're crippled and can't make a true choice to choose life because they don't have the means psychologically and emotionally and financially to make a free choice. So they're aborting under coercion and pressure. And if we can relieve that, and our movement is relieving the pressure on hundreds of thousands of women a year who would otherwise abort by helping them. And we're going to have to do this help even if in any state. In Mississippi, what do you think? Pregnancy centers are now going to close? Oh, there's no abortion, so we close all the pregnancy centers? No. There's going to be more of a demand for pregnancy centers to help the women that still get pregnant. Hey, look, no one's going to outlaw sex. We're in a fallen society. We're going to have unplanned babies forever until the day of judgment. We're going to have sin and fornication and out-of-wedlock pregnancies. And anyone that's foolish enough to think that if you just outlaw abortion, all the problem is solved, wipe our hands of abortion, it's all over, and what? We just abandon pregnant women to, now you can't have an abortion? That's a sick version of paganism. We have to help the most defenseless by helping their mothers first. And so we are pro-woman, and of course, we have to help them to become either self-sufficient or choose adoption or get married. And we have to increase the acceptability of adoption, and we have to promote marriage as an institution in our society, which is collapsed. There are fewer marriages. These problems exacerbate with more single motherhood. We get more single motherhood. It just perpetuates itself, and so it's the problems are complex. In the black community, over 75% of babies are born outside of marriage, half of Hispanics, and a quarter of whites. It just gets worse all the time. And, without marriage, without a stable household, the whole society is weakened, and the government becomes the father of many of the children.
And that's by design, unfortunately. Those that want, there's an old, not so old, I think it was Orson Welles or someone that wrote Animal Farm, but babies in the Animal Farm, they were baby dogs, but it doesn't make any difference. Babies raised by a non-loving environment, and Chief has pointed out many times, government has no heart, are guaranteed to become tools of evil, not sources of love. And I don't want any child aborted, no matter from whence, whether it's from rape, God forbid, from incest, God forbid, from one group or another group. Every child is, in fact, a gift from God. Now, I'm a guy who believes in God. I think there are two types of people in this world, Chris. There are those who believe in God and those who think they're God. And not that they created the world, but that they get to make up their own rules. If you believe in God, you follow God's rules. If you don't believe in God, you make up your own rules. And if you want to find out where evil comes from, it comes from those who make up their own rules. If you want to find out where people like you come from, Chris, and Brent, and Chief, and me, it's from people who believe in God and therefore are restricted and constricted from doing things that are wrong. It's never acceptable to do wrong if you follow God, right?
Hey, a lot of women, it's not so simple as this. I mean, if you're going to try to argue that everyone that gets an abortion is an atheist,
oh, I didn't say
you'd
that.
be way off.
No,
because the vast majority of Americans that are getting abortions are Christian, who were baptized, who call themselves born-again Christians or Roman Catholics. They represent the majority of people getting abortions. Well, so why are they getting abortions? Because they're sinners, just like the rest of us. And they are, when they're coerced and not supported, they're weak, and they commit sin. I mean, we might commit other types of sin. We can also go to hell without getting an abortion, It's not the only sin that can get you to hell.
Well, I'm sure that's the case. All right, we're out of time here, Chris. Tell people how to get in contact with your organization and to support you.
Sure. It's emcfrontline.org, emcfrontline.org. And we're in New York City and soon expanding to D.C. and to Florida. So pray for us, support us, and send us a line.
Thank you so much. God bless you for what you do.
Thanks a lot. God bless, gentlemen.
Bye-bye. We'll be back shortly with Ted Schubot here on Talk to Solomon. I like to eat. You like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. They say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. CPNLive.com, check it out. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Supercolloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back. You have a computer, if you're alive today, which means you have a hard drive, which means it's going to break down. Mosey, the backup people, for thousands, for Stan, for thousands of people, for tens of thousands of people, is simply common sense. You go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and sign up. It's just a few dollars a month. Let me tell you something. We had a break-in. They stole our whole computer. You know what? When they take the computer, you can't recover anything, but we had Mosey. We had the backup. We were able to restore everything simply by buying another computer. cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and give yourself common sense, peace of mind, great value, the best thing you've ever done. Sooner or later, it's going to be Mosey, the backup people. Do you like being healthy? I do. In fact, this product, which I've been taking for years now, is absolutely the answer. Now, you may not believe it, but I'm actually 21, plus tax, of course. This product has 146 different healthful nutrients in it, and it's liquid, so it's bioavailable. It tastes great, and it's sugar-free. 1 ounce of Sonic Life each day will help you to maintain and enhance your health. It's the kind of a gift, well, that you'll thank your mom for, your husband for, your wife for, your kids for. Whoever you give it to, they're going to say thank you. And you are going to enjoy the benefits of having all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the nutrients your body needs in one very reasonably priced product. Just go to cpnlive.com and everything's right there. You'll be able to read all the ingredients. The price is right there, a flat price delivered to your door anywhere in the United States of America. Sonic Life is a gift, a great gift. Give it to yourself. I do.